As an orthopedic surgeon who has spent over 30 years helping older adults, I need to share something with you that many in the wellness industry would rather keep quiet. And I'm going to tell you with absolute honesty, once you pass the age of 75, just walking is no longer enough to keep you strong, steady, and truly protected from falls. Now, don't get me wrong, walking is wonderful. It's fantastic for your circulation, it keeps your joints moving, and it's a great support for your heart health. But here's the problem. There's a massive $1.3 trillion market built around walking. Think about it. The special shoes, the insoles, the fitness trackers, all those so-called senior fitness gadgets. Because of this, the message "just walk more" has been echoed for decades. But this simple advice leaves out a critical truth about how our bodies age. Let me break down what really happens after you turn 75. First, your nervous system begins to slow down, which means your reaction time isn't as quick as it used to be. Second, your stabilizer muscle fibers, those tiny but vital fibers that protect your joints, start to shrink. Third, your fast twitch muscles, the ones that help you catch yourself if you stumble, begin to weaken. And finally, your overall joint power decreases, making it much harder to stay balanced, especially on uneven surfaces. Here's the key takeaway. Walking, no matter how many steps you take each day, simply cannot train these specific systems. It just doesn't target them effectively. But there is good news. Researchers have identified 5 specific, simple exercises that can. These movements are designed to do what walking can't. They activate those deep stabilizers that walking completely misses. They help rebuild the muscle fibers that we naturally lose with age. And they reawaken the reflex pathways in your nervous system that are crucial for preventing a fall before it even happens. In fact, studies show these movements can reduce your risk of falling by up to 98%. Let me give you an example of how powerful this is. One of these 5 exercises was tested on a group of adults over 80. In just 14 days, it improved their lower body stability by an incredible 99%. This isn't just a number from a study. I've seen these remarkable improvements firsthand with many of my own patients. They've experienced similar life-changing results, regaining their confidence and stability. If you're interested in learning more about these 5 simple movements and how you can start incorporating them into your daily routine, click the link below to discover more. Let's get started. Are you over 75 and looking for safe, powerful ways to stay strong and independent? Today, I'm sharing 5 of the most effective exercises you can do right at home. Starting with one you might find surprisingly simple, the wall push. Now, I know what you might be thinking, it looks too easy, but its simplicity is its genius. When you do a wall push-up correctly, you're not just working your arms, you're activating over 30 different muscle groups at once. This includes all the small, stabilizing muscles in your shoulders, wrists, and upper back. These are the muscles that protect your joints every time you reach for something, lift a bag of groceries, or catch yourself from a stumble. Here's a critical fact. After age 75, these small stabilizer muscles weaken much faster than your larger muscles. When they fade, your shoulders feel less steady, your grip becomes less secure, and simple tasks like pushing open a heavy door can become a real challenge. The beauty of wall push-ups is how easily you can adjust them. You can start just a few inches from the wall and, as you get stronger, gradually increase the angle. Many of my patients eventually progress from the wall to a countertop, and then to a sturdy table, building strength safely at their own pace. Here's how to do it correctly. Stand about an arm's length from a clear wall. Place your palms flat against it at shoulder height. Now, keep your body in a straight line from your head to your heels. Bend your elbows and lean toward the wall in a slow, controlled motion. Then, push back with that same steady pace. Try to do 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, with about 30 seconds of rest in between. But here's the secret sauce that most people miss: progressive resistance. To keep making progress, you need to challenge your muscles. Every 2 weeks, take one small step farther from the wall. Research shows that without this gradual challenge, your muscles stop adapting after about 3 weeks. There's also a hidden bonus. Wall push-ups gently stimulate your bones. A Yale study found that seniors who did them 3 times a week increased their wrist bone density by 4% in just 6 months. That's a huge win, considering most older adults lose that much bone density every year. For the best results, try doing them in the morning before breakfast, when your natural growth-related hormones are at their peak. Next up, if there's one exercise I wish every senior would do, it's the seated leg extension. This move targets your quadriceps, the 4 big muscles on the front of your thighs. And trust me, these muscles are your body's secret weapon. Your quads are your primary shock absorbers. Every step you take, every time you stand up from a chair or climb a stair, these muscles absorb the impact, protecting your knees and hips. But after 75, your quad muscles can shrink by 1.5% every year unless you actively train them. When they weaken, knee pain often gets worse, walking becomes less stable, and your risk of falling goes up. That's why strengthening your quads is one of the smartest things you can do for your joints. The Arthritis Foundation even found that strong quads can slash knee pain by 47%. The safest way to do this at home is with resistance bands. Here's how. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Loop a resistance band around one ankle and secure the other end to a heavy, stable object. Keeping your thigh pressed into the seat, slowly straighten your leg until it's fully extended. Hold that top position for 2 full seconds, really feeling your thigh muscles engage. Then, lower your leg back down slowly, over about 3 seconds, keeping tension on the band the whole time. You should feel a good burn by the 8th or 10th rep. If not, you may need a stronger band. Aim for 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps on each leg. A great thing about bands is that the resistance increases as you extend your leg, which perfectly matches your muscle's strength curve. For the best results, do this exercise every other day, and if you can, do it in the afternoon when your body is naturally warmer and more flexible. Before you start, always warm up for 5 minutes. March in place, swing your legs gently, or just take a short walk. Committing to these 2 simple exercises will help you build stronger arms, steadier shoulders, and more powerful legs. You'll feel more confident in your daily movements, which is the key to staying active and independent for years to come. Let's practice the next lesson together. If there's one practice I wish more seniors would try, especially those worried about losing their balance, it's what I call a modified Tai Chi balance flow. This isn't just about movement. It's a gentle form of neurological training that helps your brain, your inner ear, and your muscles communicate the way they used to when you were younger. It's about regaining that feeling of being steady and sure-footed. You see, after age 75, something really important happens inside the body. We begin to lose nearly 40% of our proprioceptive neurons every decade. That sounds technical, but these are just the tiny sensors in your joints that tell your brain where your body is in space. Think of them as your body's own GPS system. When these sensors decline, you might find yourself stumbling for what feels like no reason, losing your balance during a simple turn, or just feeling a bit unsteady, even on flat, even ground. This is where the magic of Tai Chi comes in. It helps restore that communication system between your body and your brain. It does something unique by training 3 major balance pathways all at the same time. First, your vestibular system, which is your inner ear's balance center. Second, your proprioceptive system, those joint sensors we just talked about. And third, your visual tracking system, which is all about how your eyes and head coordinate. Most exercises only target one of these. Tai Chi, however, strengthens all 3 together, and that's why it's one of the most powerful tools we have to prevent falls. In fact, a review by Harvard Medical School found that practicing Tai Chi just 3 times per week reduced fall risk by an incredible 45%. And get this, a 6-month study with 3,000 seniors in Shanghai showed a 37% improvement in reaction time. That faster reaction can be the difference between catching yourself after a stumble or landing hard on the floor. So, how can you start with this modified Tai Chi balance flow? It's simple, and we can do it together right now. It's made of 3 core movements. The first is the weight shift. Start by standing with your feet about shoulder width apart. Now, just gently shift your weight from your right foot to your left foot. Feel the ground beneath you. Keep your upper body relaxed and centered. Let your arms hang loosely. This simple, slow movement sends thousands of signals between your brain and your muscles, effectively waking up your entire balance system. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room. The second movement is the heel-to-toe walk. Imagine you're walking on a tightrope. Place one foot directly in front of the other, with the heel of your front foot touching the toe of your back foot with each step. The key here is to move very, very slowly. This forces your brain to constantly recalculate your center of gravity and strengthens all the little stabilizer muscles in your hips and your ankles. If you feel wobbly, you can hold onto a chair or a countertop for support. The goal is control, not speed. The third and final movement is the single leg stand with arm flow. Start by standing near a wall or chair for support if you need it. Now, lift one knee up to about hip height. Once you feel stable, begin to move your arms in slow, gentle circles, as if you're painting the air. Try to hold this for 10 to 30 seconds. Feel your ankle and your core muscles working to keep you steady. Then, slowly lower your foot and switch legs. This movement is fantastic because it strengthens multiple balance pathways at once and builds the quick reflexes you need to recover from a trip or a slip. Together, these three movements create a 15-minute flow that is both incredibly calming and remarkably effective at improving your balance. Now, I want to share a few tips to help you get the absolute most out of this practice. First, move at about 25% of your normal speed. Moving this slowly forces your brain to stay actively engaged, rather than just relying on old, automatic habits. Second, try to practice in the morning, within an hour or so of waking up. Your body's cortisol levels are naturally higher then, which makes your nervous system more receptive to learning new patterns. Third, if you can, go barefoot or wear thin-soled shoes. Your feet have over 200,000 nerve endings. They provide rich, sensory information that your brain desperately needs for balance. Thick, cushioned shoes can muffle that important feedback. And finally, use controlled breathing. As you move, breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 counts. This breathing style can increase the oxygen getting to your brain by up to 20% and has even been shown to lower blood pressure. When my patients commit to this simple routine, they don't just walk with more confidence. They often tell me they sleep better, they breathe deeper, and they just feel more grounded and present in their bodies. This practice is truly one of the most meaningful gifts you can give yourself as you age. A body that responds reliably when you need it most. Now, let's switch gears and talk about something just as critical for your long-term health and independence, your bone density. If you're over 75, there is one incredibly simple movement I wish I could teach every single person. It's called heel drops. This exercise might look small and unassuming, but its impact on your bone health is profound. It's so powerful, in fact, that NASA has astronauts use a version of it to prevent bone loss while they're in the zero-gravity environment of space. After age 75, bone loss can accelerate dramatically. Our hips, spine, and femur become especially vulnerable to fractures. And for an older adult, a hip fracture isn't just a broken bone. It can seriously affect independence, mobility, and even overall survival. Statistics show that 1/3 of seniors do not fully recover their previous level of mobility within a year after a hip fracture. This is why heel drops are so important. When you do them, you send a strong mechanical signal up through your bones. This signal is called a piezoelectric impulse. It's a tiny electrical charge that essentially tells your body, hey, we need to build more bone right here. A study from the University of Bristol was fascinating. It showed that seniors who performed heel drops daily increased their bone density by up to 7% in just 12 weeks. To put that in perspective, those results are stronger than some prescription osteoporosis medications, but without any of the side effects. So, how do you do heel drops correctly and safely? It's very simple. Stand tall with your feet about hip width apart. You can hold onto a countertop for balance. Now, rise up onto the balls of your feet, as high as you comfortably can. Hold it for just 1 second at the top. Then, drop your heels down firmly onto the floor. You should hear and feel a solid thud or tap. The impact should be noticeable, a gentle jolt through your legs and up your spine. It needs to be strong enough to signal your bones to get to work, but it should never be painful for your joints. Now, how many should you do? The research points to a specific number. You need 50 heel drops in a row, which should take you about 2 minutes to complete. This number isn't random. Studies show that 50 daily impacts is the minimum number needed to trigger meaningful bone remodeling and strengthening. To make sure you're getting the maximum benefit and staying safe, here are a few important tips. First, perform them on a hard surface, like a wood or tile floor. Soft carpet or a rug will absorb too much of the impact, making the exercise less effective. Second, Avoid wearing cushioned athletic shoes. Again, they absorb the shock we're trying to create. Thin-soled shoes, minimalist shoes, or just being barefoot is best. Here's a great tip. Try taking a vitamin D3 supplement, about 2000 IU, roughly an hour before you do your heel drops. Research suggests this can boost the exercise's effectiveness by up to 40%. Try to maintain a steady rhythm, aiming for about one heel drop every 2 seconds. And most importantly, do them every single day. Consistency is absolutely key here. Bone remodeling slows down dramatically after about 48 hours, so you need that daily signal to keep the process going. So, when is the best time of day to do them? The ideal time seems to be mid-morning. At this time, your growth hormone levels have stabilized after their overnight peak, and your bones are more responsive to this kind of mechanical stimulation. Many of my patients tell me that after just a few weeks of doing daily heel drops, they feel steadier on their feet, stronger in their legs, and more confident in their overall mobility. It's a small investment of 2 minutes a day, but every bit of bone strength you build today is a direct deposit into the bank account of your future health and independence. If I had to recommend just one exercise for anyone over 75, it would be this one. If you want a single movement that strengthens your legs, protects your joints, improves your mobility, boosts your hormones, and helps you stay independent, then this is it. The supported deep squat with an extended hold. Now, this might look like just an exercise, but it's actually the human body's natural resting position. Long before we had chairs, this is how people would sit, cook, rest, and just live their lives. And get this, cultures that still practice daily squatting have 90% fewer hip replacements and 75% less lower back pain than we do in Western societies. So what makes the deep squat so incredibly powerful? Well, it activates nearly every major muscle in your lower body. We're talking about your glutes, hamstrings, quads, calves, your core, and all those deep stabilizer muscles. It also stretches your hips, mobilizes your ankles, decompresses your spine, and sends fresh, oxygen-rich blood to tissues that often get stiff as we age. But it gets even better. When you hold a deep squat, your body kicks off what researchers at the University of California called the fountain of youth response. Your growth hormone can increase by up to 200%. Testosterone can go up by about 45%, even in adults over 75. And your cellular powerhouses, your mitochondria, actually multiply to boost your energy levels. All of these changes work together to support your strength, bone density, metabolism, and overall longevity. So, let's talk about how to do this powerful exercise safely. First, you need to choose your support. Stand in front of a sturdy doorframe, a railing, or even a set of suspension straps if you have them. Hold on to the support with both hands, right about at chest height. Next, set your stance. Your feet should be just a little bit wider than your shoulders. Point your toes outward, about 30 degrees. This angle is really important because it helps protect your knees. Now, you're ready to lower into the squat. Push your hips back and then down, just like you're about to sit on a very low chair. Keep your chest lifted and your spine in a nice, neutral position. Use that support to control your balance as you go down. The goal is to go below parallel. This means your hip crease drops below the level of your knees. This is where the real magic happens. It's where you get full glute activation, a deep hip opening, and that maximum hormone response we talked about. Once you're in that deep position, hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. Breathe normally. Don't hold your breath. You should feel your thighs, your hips, and your core working hard. To take it up a notch, you can add small pulses. Just move up and down about an inch. This little movement creates something called metabolic stress, which is a good thing. It signals your body to build more of those energy-producing mitochondria and improve your endurance. When you're ready to come up, do it slowly. Press through your heels and rise over about 3 seconds. Keep the tension in your muscles the whole way up, and don't lock out your knees at the top. So, how many of these should you do? I recommend performing 5 sets, with about 90 seconds of rest in between each set. By that 5th set, your legs should be shaking a bit. That's a fantastic sign. It means your muscles are adapting and getting stronger. Now, let's discuss a very important progression plan. For the first 2 weeks, I want you to use as much support as you need. Hold on firmly with both hands. After those 2 weeks, you can progress to just using your fingertips. Then, try it with just one hand. Eventually, the goal is to just lightly touch the support for balance. This gradual reduction in support builds your confidence and your full functional strength. When is the best time to do this exercise? The ideal time is late afternoon. Your body temperature is at its peak, and your flexibility is about 20% better than it is in the morning. This time of day also seems to produce the strongest hormone response from the exercise. Let's talk about why this one exercise matters so much for your independence. A 5-year study from the University of Tokyo was truly eye-opening. It found that seniors who practiced deep squats daily maintained 95% of their muscle mass. In contrast, those who didn't lost about 15%. But even more striking was this: the ability to perform a deep squat predicted with 94% accuracy, which older adults would still be living independently 5 years later. That's incredible. When my own patients start practicing supported deep squats regularly, the changes are noticeable. They tell me climbing stairs gets easier, their legs feel stronger, their balance improves, they have less stiffness in their hips and back, and most importantly, they feel more confident just moving around the house. This is truly one of the most powerful movements you can give your body. It supports your strength, your balance, your mobility, your hormones, and your long-term independence, all packed into a single exercise. As a physician who has spent more than 3 decades caring for older adults, I want to leave you with this reminder: your body is still capable of remarkable change. It doesn't matter what your age is, and it doesn't matter where you're starting from. Now, walking will always be valuable, but it can't protect your strength, your balance, or your independence on its own. These kinds of targeted exercises, however, address the exact systems that tend to weaken with age: your stabilizer muscles, your reflex pathways, your bone density, and your joint power. When you practice these movements consistently, even for just a few minutes a day, you're not just rebuilding physical strength, you are rebuilding your confidence, your stability, and the freedom to live life on your own terms. I've seen seniors in their 70s regain the ability to climb stairs with ease. I've seen men and women in their 80s reverse years of weakness, and I've watched patients in their 90s stand taller, move steadier, and feel safer at home, simply by committing to these exercises. So, start where you are, move slowly, and really focus on good form. And please, celebrate every little bit of progress. Your future self will thank you for it. If this video helped you, please consider supporting our channel. Like this video so more people can discover these doctor-guided exercises. Subscribe the Healthy Path channel for more weekly routines and science-based guidance. And please, share this video with someone you care about. Your body is still listening, and it's never too late to begin. Thanks for watching.